And welcome back everyone, Laure here, and I'm with Yamato this time. Thanks for joining me. This is a really big news because we hear that Kikis will start in the jungle over Galio today. What made you make this decision?
So Kikis, as a player, he has a lot of different strengths. I don't want to reveal them too much. The addition of him was definitely a positive, and with the way I view Kikis as a player, you know, it's tough to answer this question without revealing too much. I just want to wait and see, and hopefully you'll agree with my decision.
Perfect. Well, first roster change of the year for Vitality. I mean, how did the players react to it, especially Gilius?
I always try to make sure that the team has the same philosophy as me. And my philosophy is to, at all times, we are doing what is the best for the team. And in our case, adding people that will bring positives is always a decision that I will make. In an ideal world, I would have a substitute for every single role. Kikis is a player. He has someone that he's a LCS champion. He took second place with Unicorns of Love. He has a lot of experience. Like, he was a player back when I was a player in Season 1. So he's been around for a very long time. He's very creative. And I think this is what we needed here in Vitality. And I think what it comes down to is, you know, the ideas I've got from Korea. When we were in Korea, we saw a lot of teams expanding their rosters. Africa did very well. They came back, they got second place in the regular split, and that was because they had substitutes and they were willing to make those decisions. And I think everyone's going to copy those ideas, and I think that's the way forward for League of Legends in general.
Awesome. And now, as a coach, how do you know that this will be the change that will make Vitality on top again?
I don't know for sure. Like, we are working very hard, and I think that's what is going to make the difference in the end, our hard work. We are pushing very hard, and Kikis adapted very quickly to how we want to work. He's working very hard, and his experience is something that is going to be a positive regardless of how we see it. So he's already a member of the family, and we all want the same thing. It's to get to the top.
Well, best of luck to him today and to you guys, of course. Now let's send it over to Sjokz and Alvar. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Laure. I love that we heard from Yamato. We obviously wanted to know what was going on and why the change came in. And I think you had the same idea as me, that he went on this, talk about how it's good to have subs on the international scene. We've seen a lot of examples of it, but it didn't really tell us why Gilius is not playing.
I mean, it's obviously good to have subs, but obviously it's also better to have subs from the start of the season. Like, you don't put them in the middle of the season.
After losing 3 games,
yes.
And then you put them in, and without practice getting them to play. I think that's what we're reading in between the lines.
For me, that's not the correct way, but I guess it's always good to have subs. So from what he said, it's also true. Having like 6 or 7 roster members and being able to replace some of them time to time when someone is not performing that well, that's good. But at the middle of the season, it sounds strange for me.
We have questions about it. They are at 5-5 in the standings, and they need every single win. So in that case, it's good that they made a change. The big story of Vitality has been this split. Can they do as well as they did in spring? Unfortunately, the answer so far is no. This guy here, Jiizuké, he isn't carrying every single game anymore, and that seems to have made it a lot more difficult for Vitality.
Yeah, that's true. And also I was talking a couple of minutes ago with them, with Jiizuké and Attila, especially because I know them for quite a long time. And them both were quite disappointing that I picked Giants in this match. Yeah. And they were kind of confident. They were really confident that today they're going to beat Giants. They were really confident today they're going to play much better than in LCS. So I think we're gonna see that probably today. But I think this man like Jiizuké is not performing as well as he was doing last season. He's not the man we had in the spring, like carrying Vitality all the early game and even the mid to late game by split pushing, by insane plays, and by everything he was adding to the team on a spring. Right now, he's not that hard carry, and I think Vitality really needs someone like him.
Yeah, they need a hard carry stepping up. Do you see anyone else in that lineup that could right now get them wins?
I actually think the one they have to go with is Attila. I think Attila is playing really well. I think Attila is not underperforming on any of their matches. Like, every single time you see them losing, you can see, oh, this game Gilius didn't play that well, this game Jiizuké didn't play that well, this game maybe Cabochard. But I think Attila was always performing well, and right now he's probably performing the best on the team. So I think kind of the structure of the team or the playstyle of the team has to be more focused into bot lane.
Okay, well, bottom line is they have to win. They're at 5-5. They need to pick up this win versus Giants. How do you think Kikis stepping onto the Rift with, he said it, a year not playing in the LCS, and you said it at the beginning of the show, he has actually not played competitive for a couple of months now.
He's been, the last time he was playing in European Master with Illumina, and right now he's been not playing even a streams. So it's quite interesting and quite surprising for me that he come up here used to play LCS, you know. But I think probably the major reason about the change is because Gilius and Jiizuké, they always had a great synergy and they always want to keep working together, but it's not working that well anymore.
Okay.
So maybe having Kikis here, he can focus on other lanes like bot lane. They can make bot lane stronger, and with that, they can come up with a victory against Giants.
That makes a lot of sense. We will see if this huge bet by YamatoCannon pays off and if they are able to beat Giants on the side of Vitality. But to do that, they'll have to beat Djoko and the squad. And for more on that jungle matchup, here's Ender.
Thank you, Sjokz. Thank you, Sjokz. In weeks 4 and 5, this player had the highest kill participation and jungle proximity, and was second in kills and assists and goal difference at 15 minutes among junglers. I'm not talking about Broxa, Gilius, Maxwell, or Xerxes. It's my man Djoko, one of our best early game junglers in the EU LCS. Now, Djoko is the spark in the early game for Giants. It's because of his willingness to go for level 2 ganks and early turret dives that Giants have been able to consistently find leads in the first 15 minutes of their games. And if you look at their win against H2K last week, you notice that he read Shook like a book. He was always there to punish any proactivity out of his opposition and find a kill. Going back even further to when Giants pulled off that huge upset win against G2, you'll remember that it was Djoko who got first blood by ganking at level 2 as Nocturne and then ulting bot lane virtually off of cooldown. He is very clearly the difference maker that Giants need to be able to find wins. But Giants are still only 3 and 7 in the standings because they've struggled to transition the leads Djoko cultivates early on into a successful mid-game. And this is where I put the ball in Djoko's court. He has been playing fantastically as an individual, but I want to see him grow as a leader and take the reins in the mid-game. He needs to focus Giants, a team that typically slows down and waits for their opponents to make a mistake or make a play even when they have a lead. He needs to be mentoring and calling on his rookie support, SirNukesAlot, calling him to his side to search for plays in the mid-game and direct the process of setting up for objectives in order to close out their games. Right now, this team doesn't look like it's standing or contesting for playoffs, but they are still sitting very close to the edge. If Giants are going to make the leap to playoffs contender, it will be through the evolution of Djoko. Let's see if they can start tonight with a win against Vitality.
Thank you very much, Ender, and good evening, everyone. I'm Aaron Medic Chamberlain, here with the superior analyst and leader of the Nuke fan club. It's Martin Deficio.
And founder as well.
Oh, you're the founder as well?
Yes, yeah, of course. I still got a bunch of tickets if you want to get on the hype train.
I think you need to actually print off these tickets and bring them physically to the desk.
I don't want to copy Monty too much,
yeah?
So I'm just verbally saying it. There's actually no tickets.
I've always thought
I'm
of you just as a discount Monty.
I mean, I like to call myself that as well. Yeah. I take that as a compliment.
Well, you should. You should. We're going to have Vitality playing up against Giants in our next matchup. And I want to just have a look at predictions for this match, because a lot of people have said that Vitality are going to take the win in the end. I'm actually going on the side of Giants for this game.
Okay, so you set yourself up, and now you explain why.
Well, I don't
like you literally set yourself up.
So I think I'm slightly worried for Vitality because they are playing this all-mid composition most of the time at the moment. That's how they try and win games. They force mid plays. Giants, on the other hand, have begun to go from strength to strength for me. They beat H2K last week. I'm looking for a little bit more coordination from them. I'm looking for Djoko in the early game, and I think if they can get Djoko and Betsy ahead, Vitality won't be able to answer.
I mean, getting them ahead is the key here. Vitality, when they fall behind, do not win a lot of games. And Giants early game, as you said, they have put more focus towards it. They're not drafting for full late game. They're not really calling themselves the late game kings. It died pretty quickly. So yeah, if they do get an early game draft and Djoko is successful, I can see Giants take down Vitality. See what happens in the pick and ban phase though. There have been, you know, a few minor changes with the new patch. Obviously, patch 8.14. Buffs and nerfs were very small all around, except for like a TP change where another minute was added to it. That is a big deal. And of course, the funnel comms got that big nerf, so they're most likely gone. Or at least for most teams they are. But in terms of the ban phase, I still feel like a lot of it remains the same. We have seen teams though leave things like Nocturne open now, which was banned a lot if we go back the last 2 weeks, but I see more and more teams try and trade it for a power pick, especially also in other regions. This one here, Vitality do not want to make that trade and ban it away.
Second time we've seen that Nocturne ban on the blue side as well. So expect Giants to get rid of Taliyah probably here, and then Vitality will go for whatever flavor of the month tickles their fancy for that first pick.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. Even if they want to give Taliyah, like if they don't feel like Kikis is going to do that well on the champion, obviously you can still go to mid for Jiizuké, but it's not as good mid lane as it was in the past. Like I don't think it's bad here for Giants not to ban it, and looks like the trade paid off, or the non-Taliyah ban paid off, because it was a Kindred first pick.
And it does mean that Djoko can pick up the Taliyah straight away for himself if he wants it. Has played it once already, the split, has a 100% win record on it as well.
Well, guaranteed win then.
Yeah.
That's it. There's really nothing else to say. Let's see what else we have available in the draft here. Rakan being banned obviously takes down the prio of Xayah Rakan, which is what some teams are still running. Giants do like to run AD carries bot lane. They were not one of the teams to go into the majors on their side. They remained with AD carries. This is another one, and this is a bit of a European special, in a way. Like, while Rumble is a pick in a lot of different regions, he's not considered that high priority that you have to grab him early in drafts, but he's picked in a lot of the EU games, and in this one he's picked so early by Giants. It's a little bit surprising they want him this badly.
Yeah, and it gives Vitality the option to pick something into it as well. Maybe something that's more tanky, maybe something that scales up well as well towards that.
Took his Lucian!
Yeah,
Steeelback's Lucian.
Steeelback's Lucian. He has played that 4 games already this split and is 3-1 on it. So it is actually a good thing from Vitality to take it away from Giants.
It's also the AD carry they like to pick for Attila down the bot lane, and they can play around that lane with the Lucian itself. Now, Medic, you want the tank against the Rumble, you get Mundo, the tank that you pick against AP champions. So easy for him to stack MR and get additional ones for himself. So no big surprise on that side. But Giants comp, it's looking a lot like early mid game. That's what you wanted.
It's exactly what I wanted.
We just discussed the ways for Giants to try and get ahead against Vitality. Vitality do not perform well when they are behind. So you get engaged from support. You have a jungler, if it is going to be jungle Taliyah, that can be super aggressive in the early game. Fast, clear, good ganks. And you have a lane like Rumble where we know level 6 walk into the first fight and you are a monster already. So I like the no late game Kings Giants.
You want to change your prediction here, Deficio? You went Vitality.
No. Of course I did.
I'm feeling it now. You know, Giants have that early mid-game spike. They banned out the Braum as well, which...
Oh my god, the Braum ban, that's where they win.
Well, it's because you get rid of the Braum Lucian bottom lane, which is very difficult to play into no matter what lane you pick into it.
The Yasuo ban, because they see double knockups from Giant side. I think that is a smart choice. Betsy's also been performing well on a lot of these different assassins in the mid lane. So I think Irelia is another one you gotta obviously look at for Betsy, but he only picked it against Zoe. So it's not a guaranteed he's gonna lock it in. Betsy did used to play a lot of Corki.
It's true.
Corki got buffed.
He did.
I just want to put it out there. Obviously Corki, give him a Trinity Force, give him a Storm Racer. Damn boy, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, and his buff is purely around the early game as well.
It is.
It's Gatling gun buff, a bunch of extra damage, and you stack up the armor and magic resist shred on it a bit quicker. Another typical Steeelback champion.
It is true. This is the other one he's played 4 times. As we said, it is still AD carries, but that does not scream early game snowball for me with the Ezreal. It's so rare we see a European Ezreal actually take over games. I can't even remember if it happened once this split so far.
Definitely not for Steeelback because he's 0-4 on that this split.
Right, yeah. So that to me is not exactly what Giants were looking for in terms of, you know, snowball ever, but you can't go for all 3 lanes. Leave Ezreal on bottom side. You can roam with Alistar. You can play around mid and top lane for Djoko. I think that is the strategy, and that does make a lot of sense.
Vitality are answering it with the Galio mid and a possible Tahm Kench here for Jactroll, one of his signature picks as well. A little bit more safety around those mid-game fights. You can gobble people up and keep them safe, and then you've got the Mundo and even the Kindred ultimate to help you survive through team fights.
This is the first professional Galio game from Jiizuké's side here in the EU LCS. When it was meta in the past, he was one of the guys to not pick the champion because he wanted to carry on his own. He wanted to be the member who could actually go and be a big split pusher. So it didn't fit the style Vitality wanted to play. Now it is locked in this game here for him. They're currently sitting on still 4 teleports. It's a ton of globals with Tahm, Kench, Galio. Great, you know, front line with the Mundo. I think Vitality's draft, as long as they don't die early game to some of the potential ganks from Djoko, will be super, super strong going into team fights.
So basically, it feels like Giants have to get ahead and then play the team fights in the early mid game, and Vitality don't want to lose kills early and then will be able to win just because of their compositional strengths.
Also, if they are running 4 TPs plus a Tahm control plus a Galio ult, like, you have so much map control. It's insane how much control you have around, you know, where Giants are just always afraid to make a play because 4 or 5 members will show up instantly, and it's really difficult to play against, especially on stage when you are playing a bit more passive and you don't want to make, you know, these big gambles. I just think that the Giants comp, it's hard to execute if you don't get ahead. That's kind of thing. Like, the front line is an Alistar. That's it. Everyone else dies in like 2 seconds, but they deal a ton of damage on the Giant side. So if Djoko is successful early game, if Betsy gets off a great roam at level 6, suddenly this Giants comp, with the amount of damage they have, can just run over Vitality.
Question is whether they can rely on Djoko to get them ahead once again. We've seen it so often, but today a new challenger approaches him. It is Kikis on a Vitality, replacing Gilius, coming back from about a 6-month break from the EU LCS. Last time we saw him, he was on the Mysterious Monkeys playing top lane. The last time he played jungle on the LCS stage was 3 years ago, Deficio.
That's a long time ago, because on G2 Esports, he was the top laner. As you said, stuck to that role, but then EU Masters, and back in Poland for Illuminar Gaming, he did transition back to the jungle. And at EU Masters, when we watched him play, we got a 10-0 or 0-10 Kikis. There was really no in between. Very aggressive in the way he was actually approaching the game. The start of EU Masters, it was mainly the 0-10.
Yeah.
But towards, you know, the end of group stage and playoffs, Kikis actually did succeed with a lot of the moves he was making. He's on Kindred right now. Obviously, a lot of junglers like to grab Camille against the Kindred because you can actually duel her pretty easily and you can lock her down so she can't jump out, especially at level 6. But Kikis will have to show what he can do here. We get his timeline. Unicorns Aloft is where it all started.
Flash Bear Slap.
That's the famous moment. Kikis back then was so famous for playing the most random champions. The Udyr no one expected either when he pulled it out. And suddenly we're sitting there in Madrid watching an Udyr running around killing people. And that was kind of his style, was unpredictable. A lot of the other veteran junglers were always saying, yeah, you know what? He doesn't really know 100% what he's doing. He's just like picking random cheesy stuff and then he hopes it works. But I think Kikis always kind of knew exactly what he wanted to do with his different picks. And he put a lot of value in training a lot of unique paths and champions. This is very standard though with the Kindred. I don't expect him to pick Udyr in his first game back as a jungler here.
I mean, Kindred is standard at the moment, but isn't actually winning that many games, Deficio. It's been played 17 times in the EU LCS, only has 4 wins. It's a 24% win percentage, which is not the highest for a jungler.
I always look at different picks and I say, okay, are the numbers super good? Yes, okay, it's a great pick. Is she hard to execute, either the champ alone or in a composition on this professional stage? Not in scrims, on stage. I say with Kindred, yeah, she is pretty hard to execute. A lot of junglers struggle with, a lot of teams struggle with it. So I think that is one of the reasons for why she's not finding a lot of success. It's not as easy to play as grabbing a very standard Sejuani jungle, you know, where your job is very much to be a frontline tank. Not the case with the Kikis and Kindred.
Small thing I do want to note as we, as the junglers do their early pathing is the fact that we have a Ghost Poro in the game. It's a new, well, it's not new, it's been updated on 8.13. It requires an active placement now in that domination tree, and the important thing about it is if your Ghost Poro is in enemy territory, or if you're in enemy territory, you get extra AP or extra AD.
And that is the key thing here. Get in the enemy jungle. You can actually place it in a lot of these brushes behind where people don't normally like think, okay, there is going to be a ward put down. Djoko's going to find the first one.
It's actually a red side one, so he knows that's there. Yeah.
Well,
he did get spotted on one down towards the bottom side of the river before.
Though.
That's true.
No bonus for him. He's top lane though.
Going for the first gank. We've always heard about ganking a Mundo. Ruin there. Gets a lot of damage down already, and Djoko is on his way. Cabo gonna try.
Oh no!
And flash away because Djoko doesn't even hit the wall dive.
Oh, I'm feeling sick.
Yeah, that was not the best execution, Djoko.
That was like the easiest gank ever. Cabochard was already low. He was caught in the middle of the lane. You have CC. You can literally walk to the Mundo, not even use your E.
And it's so impactful as well, because Kikis is going to get his second mark off here, able to invade, get in there, get the Gromp, and you can see Gilius is supporting him as well from the sidelines. Jungler and jungler synergy there for Vitality.
Good start for Kikis, even though it was all about Djoko actually going top lane.
Yeah, but you have to execute on your enemy's mistake.
Failing everything. You wanted Giants to snowball. We said Djoko had to be the one to do it, not the start he was looking for. Now down in experience. Kikis can chill around. Let's see what happens around mid lane. Betsy versus Jiizuké is actually a pretty high matchup, and if we judge on who's performed the best in this split, I actually would look towards Betsy and say he's done a lot for his team. His impact has been great. They don't win games without Betsy, that's for sure.
Definitely agree with you. Jiizuké has that historical track record of being strong in spring, but hasn't shown that level of performance. Kikis looking for his first gank of his EU LCS split. On to Ruin, the flash away, but Kikis with the chase. Ruin not in a good spot. First blood, Vitality.
Everything just completely went wrong for Giants in the top lane. Kikis shows up, he gets a kill for his team. Meanwhile around mid lane, Djoko's only level 3.
Oh, that's not what you want to do, Djoko. Once again, he misses the grapple. And Giants rocked back on their haunches now. Kikis is going to try and steal away another mark.
Well, that was not great. I will say it was probably good for him he actually didn't hit it, because there was no mana on Betsy.
Teleport coming in.
This one
here,
hits.
though. Giants going to go for the fight already. Kikis is down. And maybe a little bit too greedy for the mark.
Not expecting Ruin to TP. I think he was seeing Ruin just go back to top lane. You know, okay, he's not going to be around because he's already recalled, but that was a nice little detour from Ruin. Just take another ward down near mid lane, then walk top after. So mistake on the side of Kikis, quick punish from Giants. And Djoko did manage to land the stun here, and Betsy got the kill. That's pretty big for them on their side. I just want to see the experience. Yeah, he's going to be level 6 once he returns to lane here. First gank on that Taliyah can be crucial. Remember, especially with Galio's ult that got nerfed many patches ago, where the cooldown's insane. Like, if you pull off the first gank as a Taliyah and Galio ults down, but you still get the kill, the Galio is like useless for a couple of minutes.
You have to remember the longer cooldown on those teleports as well. Vitality have used all of theirs already. Ruin puts down the equalizer in the top lane as Kikis comes in for a gank. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, NukesAlot is going to knock Jactroll back. Joko is down towards this bottom side. Jactroll looking for the blast cone out. Steeelback can go for the chase. Joko instead decides Attila is his man. Tactical sweep will slow him up, but that's not the target you wanted. Betsy on his way down, though, trying to catch out the Kench in the river, and that catfish has gone fishing. Betsy's caught him on his rod. That's an easy kill for Giants. Betsy gets the second kill of the game.
All right, because I was looking at the minimap when that started. Betsy was actually going to top lane to potentially help Ruin, so I thought they were just going to let Jactroll walk away, but they do manage to secure the kill. 2 kills for Taliyah now. I feel like Betsy has just been chilling in his mid lane, and then 2 people randomly walked towards him and just died. I mean, like, here you go. Please kill me. Take my gold.
I mean, sometimes that's what you need when your jungler can't hit an E in the early game.
It's definitely making it easier for Giants, and I guess Djoko is successfully snowballing his mid laner right now.
Just baiting and outsmarting his enemy. Let's have another look at this bot lane gank, because a few mistakes were made.
They want to stop the recall. That's the only reason to do this, but he ends up jumping into tower range while there's an Alistar right in front of him. Like, he was not invisible. He was there.
Yep.
I saw him. You saw him.
I saw him as well.
Attila did not see him, apparently. Took 2 tower shots for it. He's forced out and poor Jactroll. Already used his flash. Betsy grabs a free kill for himself in that mid lane.
And I wonder if Djoko already knew that Betsy was going to be able to catch out the Tahm Kench, so instead decided to force Attila away.
Yeah, I think that was basically the call. It's like, okay, we're going to get Tahm Kench no matter what. He can't get out. Betsy will kill him. Try and see if we can get something against the Lucian. Giants, though, still even in gold. Despite getting 2 kills for Betsy, I'm still waiting for the first ulti on the Taliyah. Notice his mana pool, by the way. Every time I look at it, because he's not been able to go for any sort of mana item early, he's just like, he pushes a couple of waves, he's down to 0 mana. And that's, again, one of the things that happened to Taliyah mid lane, which is why she kind of fell out of favor originally, simply because the mana cost just got increased, and her wave clear simply got reduced.
But
so
what is the decision-making process there? Because he's got Sorcerer's Boots. He's had enough money to go back and get a lost chapter if he wanted to. Why has he decided Sorcerer's Boots are a priority?
it tells me they want to play around mid because they need the extra burst damage on his side. Djoko's here.
Exactly what they're trying to do, but Jiizuké will just justice punch his way to safety. As you say, pretty even in gold early on in this game. A little bit of a CS lead for Jiizuké in that mid lane. Tiny advantage for Cabochard up towards the top side of the map as well.
That is good though for Cabochard. We know Mundo gave him a Spirit Visage. He won't really die against the Rumble. And if Betsy is ganking him, well, it's another magic damage threat coming to his lane. It's been an even early game, but it's been a weird one.
Yeah, it's been a little bit all over the place because we saw what we wanted from Giants, but the execution wasn't quite there from Djoko.
And also just the fact that I feel like all 3 kills so far in the game was kind of gifted by the other team. You know, Kikis invading, not respecting a TP that was really easy for Ruin to pull off. The play in the bot lane we just saw before here. Anyway though, Betsy.
Flash, taunt, cleanse, flash away from Betsy will get him to safety. Djoko was waiting around the corner if he needed to join the fight. But instead, he will just spot out that control ward.
We're getting a very even early game though. Yeah. Giants and Vitality, I think if you looked at the names and the organizations, a couple of weeks ago everyone would say Vitality heavy favorites for sure will win, but recent trend for them, it's gone downhill. They've lost a lot of games. That's why they swapped out Galio as well, put in Kikis to try and get a change in the team, most likely in terms of the comms, you know, what happens behind the scene for them, because I don't think Galio's individual performance was bad. But as you guys can see, they've been losing to all these top teams. They've so far been beating the bottom ones, and Giants is one of those. But by losing to all the top teams, they've actually dropped further and further down these standings, and they're no longer sitting and fighting for first place.
I mean, we're actually starting to talk about whether they'll make playoffs at the end of the...
I mean, they're in that group now.
Yeah, if they go 5-5 again, they probably will. In fact, 10-10 is definitely a mark that will get you around there.
Would also be really impressive with 18
they have
games.
2 more games more than...
I feel like that's cheating if they go 10-10.
Yeah. If they go 9-9, they will probably make it to playoffs, but still not the vitality that we saw in Spring Split, not the 4th place vitality we saw after Paris.
And not a Jiizuké and Galio that we've seen before. Again, this is him relegated to more of a I need to play around my teammates style and not I'm an individual carry. Djoko will grab himself a Cloud Drake. Beautiful Drake, by the way.
It's your favorite, isn't it?
It is now my favorite after you basically forced it to be my favorite. Don't like the trade though for a Rift Herald. I'll definitely take the Rift Herald every time.
With the extra movement speed.
Yeah,
you can run around the back of the Rift Herald.
But the fast recall for Kikis.
That's true. Kikis' fast recall will definitely help him out just a little bit.
So, where are they going to place it? I think top lane, where Mundo is winning, you can get a free turret if you do that. Bot lane as well, Ezreal wave clear is not the greatest against it, but then you obviously need backup from the rest of your team. Mid lane is probably the only one where it might be hard unless they can force Betsy out. But in this situation here, Vitality are actually doing fine in all their lanes. So despite giving up the 2 kills, it's not like they're under pressure in this early game. And a lot of it also comes down to Djoko failing a bunch of early ganks.
I want to talk a little bit about something you discussed in Ready Check, Deficio. You were talking about YamatoCannon's coaching style and how he's very good at teaching the team of fundamentals. He's very good at making a playoffs team, but we haven't ever really seen him make a championship team. Never seen him take that next level to a Fnatic or a Misfits or a G2. What is it that you think holds Vitality back from becoming one of those championship teams?
I think that's such a hard question to answer.
It's as if you're an analyst, though.
Yeah, but it's like, that's the thing. I wish I was sitting in and watching, you know, a week of Vitality practicing and talking to each other to get an idea of like, okay, is anything here holding them back? It is actually going to be mid lane because all 5 moved to mid, so they grabbed that turret. But the thing with YamatoCannon, and Araneae actually also talked about this behind the scenes, is like, he's a great leader. And he's really good at making young players feel confident, feel ready to play on stage, not be afraid of making plays. If you look at all his teams in the past, you've always had a bunch of young rookies performing better than people expected. And I think that's a lot of credit to the style he's using. He always talks about building these pillars so everyone knows, okay, basically what is the normal solution to this problem? Okay, I now have some tools I can work with. But the next step is obviously, as you talk about, like, how do you make this team win the EU LCS? And we've not seen that yet. Oh, that's a play in mid.
Yeah, Jactroll going towards the mid lane. Betsy's going to weave his wall out, but he's stopped in his tracks. Great play from Vitality. Shut down on Betsy.
It's around mid lane again. They go mid with the Rift Herald. They then go mid again. And they were about to get ganked bot lane. Djoko was down there. He's like, yeah, I'm going to kill this bot lane, take the turret. And then they leave. They're going straight top lane. Ruin, you need to run.
Has to get out of there. The Equalizer, a big teamfight tool, but only Steeelback has a teleport on Giants, so he'd be the only one able to join up that fight. Giants instead say, okay, we'll get bot lane tower, we'll do a tower for tower trade, but Vitality come out on top. About 2,000 gold in the lead now.
Quick trade. That Rift Herald trade from before, giving them a very, very easy mid lane turret was so huge to unlock potentially what Jiizuké wants to do, or catch Betsy when there's no turret behind him to actually keep him alive. Giants are now falling behind in this early game, Medic. It's not according to your plan. Can they kill Jiizuké?
Joker's going to try and get in there. The taunt comes out, but there's a Hextech ultimatum. Double TP straight away from Vitality. They can rejoin this fight incredibly quickly, and it's Cabochard and Jactroll coming to the aid of Jiizuké.
Big cooldowns now. 360 seconds on teleport. It is the nerf that just happened here. Didn't stop Vitality from grabbing a bunch of TPs
on the team.
on their side. We're gonna see a lot of different things, which I actually like. It gives more diversity. Some teams will run just TP top lane and that's about it. Other teams will still grab 4 TPs. There's gonna be more spellbook coming in, especially for supports. Jactroll is sitting with it now in this game here. And I think just the different options you have, because you are sacrificing someone's spell for like a long time by running TP. But the pressure it gives you global-wise, like here, where you can TP down and kill the enemy bot lane.
Ruin looking for that equalizer straight across the bottom of the map. Attila there. Here comes the hero's entrance, though. They need to kill him quickly. In comes Jiizuké. Jactroll eats up one. He's down. Jiizuké is going to catch onto Ruin. A 1-for-1 trade in the bottom lane.
Oh, might not be over yet. Kikis is here, but Betsy's also behind him.
Djoko may have overstayed. Kikis knocked up straight away. Betsy with the knockback. Can't get him out of the Lamb's Respite, though, and Vitality's still alive. Kikis flashes away. Jiizuké now in the midst of them all, though, and he's trying to 4v1 this one. Attila comes in from the side. Steeelback jumps forward, gets one. Jiizuké chasing off Djoko towards the top side of this fight. It's a double for Betsy, and Jiizuké has to run for the wins.
Kikis came down. They wanted to re-engage.
Oh, perfect positioning from Betsy on that seismic shot, but Jiizuké will be able to get away.
Meanwhile,
Cabochard in the top lane just continues to push in the wave.
but he didn't get to the turret in time to actually deal meaningful damage to it. Giants' initial TP down was a fine trade either way, but because Kikis shows up, the call is made, hey, let's re-engage, let's fight this. 3v4. Betsy was right behind him. That's where Giants suddenly get the big advantage. 4 kills now for this Taliyah here. That is really the carry on the side of Giants, and it's Betsy again. We talked about the first 2 kills were pretty much gifted towards him. This one he had to fight for.
Doing an incredible job, though, and now has that Luden's Echo as well. He is the key member for Giants. They fell behind in the early game. They're now trying to eke their way back.
So let's think about the play here. Okay, you TP in because the bot lane of the enemy team is exposed and no lane is pushed against you. Top lane, mid lane, you have time. So the play makes a lot of sense from Giants' side. Get the first kill, but it's a trade. Now, if you're Vitality, you just back away. You just managed to trade TP for 1 kill and 1 death. That's great, but Kikis going back in, it's bad. They're fighting again.
Attila was saved by Jactroll. He's going to sacrifice himself for that. And it's another pick for Giants. Not quite sure how that one kicked off, but you can understand why Kikis wanted the fight, because he had a 2-level lead on Djoko. He's still got a level advantage.
But he's 3v4.
Yeah.
His top lane is like freely pushing top side. Don't take the fight, step away. You get the long TP cooldown. It's great if you're Vitality, but they opted into re-engaging. That's why Giants end up winning the trade in the end. And that's one of the problems we have seen Vitality shot calling. It only goes forward. It never goes back. And sometimes it's okay not to fight.
I mean, we're saying it when we looked at the pick and ban. Giants want to fight in the early game. If Vitality can survive through that point, you've got a Mundo who's great against the double magic damage from Giants. You've got the Galio, the Kindred, so many tools to work with to stop Giants from actually being able to take these fights.
But obviously also, as we mentioned, like the Giants comp with the amount of damage they have, always have a win condition, which is if we can actually properly nuke down the first target in front of us in a fight, we create a big numbers advantage instantly. It's just hard to play the no tank comps, or well, only Alistar tank. They simply have no vision in the river. They try to walk in towards mid. Great catch by Giants. But as we said here, like comp-wise, if Giants is executing well in team fights, they can win at any point in the game. It's just when you don't have these tanks other than your support, you overstep once, bam, you get nuked down by like Attila two shot you?
Two shot.
Two shot you?
Yeah, 2 shots. Yeah.
Can you say that?
Yeah, it's 2 shot.
2 shot?
2 shot. 2 shoot isn't what you're thinking.
No?
It's not the word.
He double taps.
Double taps.
Yeah, better.
His light slinger passive.
Yeah, he's using the passive.
1-2 shots that he fires at you.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
I was sort of like, you know, he shot me twice.
Yeah. No, he didn't shoot you twice. Well, he did shoot you twice as well. English is confusing. I apologize to Fisher. I didn't make the law.
Oh, you didn't invent the language?
I didn't invent the language.
Oh, I thought you did.
Sadly, no.
Ah.
Let's go back to the Romans. Get mad at them. Or the Greeks.
Someone.
Even some of the French. I mean, we can always get mad at the French. However, we are now almost 20 minutes into this game, Deficio. A 1,000 gold lead for Vitality. Starting to get those first, second items completed. Kikis has got a rapid fire cannon. You've got the Rod of Ages stacking up. Blade of the Ruin King on Attila as well. But you look at Steeelback, you look at Betsy, and you think, ooh.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty good item spikes. Triforce, Manamune, Ludens.
I like what I'm seeing on their side. They're looking for another fight though, because they've completely lost the river. It's all blue control wards for now, and then SirNukesAlot ruins my point by placing one top side. Just I said it. Meanwhile, on the giant side, where they're looking for a kill here. Joko, you have the ulti. If you just get in range, you can literally lock this guy down. Then you combo with the Alistar, you ult in from Taliyah, and that should guarantee a fight. Steeelback is pushing though. He's actually been picking up a lot of kills. He's done well so far in this game with NukesAlot.
One of these players that tends to have a good KDA at the end of games. Doesn't always make a lasting impression in team fights, but hopefully on the Ezreal this time he can. Still a 0% win rate, of course, on that pick this split.
Can only get better.
No, because it could still be 0.
Yeah, but I mean...
And then you'd have played 5 games and lost all 5.
Hey, that's more than 4.
I mean, the numbers can get larger. That doesn't make it any better, Deficio. Do I need to teach you maths as well as English?
I'd rather lose 5 than 4 games.
Okay. That explains your professional career.
That's a good point. 0-9, baby, never forget. But no one beats the Copenhagen Wolves 10 times in a row.
That's true. Looks like Giants are trying to clear out some of that vision that we talked about. They want this mid-game fight. They need to force the tempo of the game. They need to force Vitality into a bad position.
Got the fully stacked Tia now and Steeelback. This should be the go signal for them. Look at Rune, he's sitting ready with the ulti. They need an engage though. Djoko and NukesAlot. Who's gonna be? Someone gotta go in, but there's a turret behind him. There's a Tahm Kench as well, medic. You can't really nuke them down, and now they're gonna lose push bot lane, which gonna mean Cabochard can actually move to mid lane himself and get mid prior for Vitality. And we are past the 20-minute mark. There's always the chance of going towards Baron. A little bit early though for Vitality, but oh, bot lane they might be chasing off Cabochard.
And they will chase him away, but it's not very easy to kill at the moment.
So what happened here for Giants was instead of putting priority on pushing out lanes first and then see Vitality catch waves in the side lanes and then you go 5-man mid to create an advantage, they actually went straight mid when there was already all the Vitality members they needed to defend. Oh, they're fighting.
Straight onto Jiizuké, but he puts the taunt down straight away. There's the equalizer across them all as well. Joker's still alive, NukesAlot as well. Cabochard coming in from the bottom side. The Lamb's Respite goes down. It's not in the better position for Vitality if they want to continue this fight. Ruin now running away. Cabochard healing up with that sadism as well. And Vitality able to stymie Giants engage.
That was a big engage from Giants, but it's on to the Galio. Yeah, he's building AP, but he has Aftershock. It's a ton of extra armor and MR coming in on his side. If you actually try and jump him, he will not go down easily, and I think Giants realized they couldn't actually win that fight due to the engage. Rumble ult is on cooldown. No ult for SirNukesAlot. He's squishy if he goes in.
5,000 HP left on the ban. Vitality trying to force Giants' hand here. Remember, no equalizer, none of those big ultimates, but Betsy does do a lot of work. Steeelback still up towards the top side. And Vitality have had to back off the Baron.
Yeah, Vitality did not try and run at Giants. They just stepped away from Baron. Even though Steeelback was not there to take the fight, he would have to TP in to join, but that's still a long channel time. I think just on the side of Vitality, there was no easy way for them to start. Because it's basically Cabochard running at the enemy team or Jactroll ulting into the middle of the enemy lineup and then a Galio ult coming down. So they didn't have an easy way to start the fight, ended up just stepping away.
Must remember that later tonight we've got a big battle between NukeDuck and Caps in our match of the week. You can watch the game through the eyes of Sjokz mid laner in the beta POV stream. That stands for point of view. Is it the year of the duck? Well, find out tonight in Game 5. Are you on the duck side? You're a big NukeDuck fan.
That's like the dumbest question.
Yeah, I voted for Sjokz as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
Damn, boy, you're insane.
I mean, I don't want to say it was only because when we do the Instagram stories, one person has to pick Sjokz and the other person gets to pick Fnatic.
Right.
But that may have been a contributing factor.
It is going to be the game where NukeDuck can show if he can beat Caps.
That's the most diplomatic answer I've ever heard.
I'm not done yet.
I mean, sure, anyone can show they can beat the other player in any game.
Yeah, but it's not very realistic normally when you play against Caps, but if NukeDuck can do it, we can actually for real sell tickets to the year of the duck.
Okay.
He said himself, put it on hold for now, wait until he's played Perks and Caps, and then we talk. I say just play caps, that's enough. Then we can talk.
It's true, G2 not in the finest form at the moment. Similar to Vitality, falling down the standings just a little bit. Giants maybe working their way up, but they've missed.
So negative.
They've missed the powerful mid-game spike that we talked about. Still building up those items, maybe can find a team fight. You have to be worried about Cabochard though, because magic damage against a Mundo is not that effective, and even Ezreal does a proportion of magic damage.
Giants have basically not been able to force anything for a while. They're looking for another engage. Here we go.
Yuva's wall. Joko goes one way. The other side is Jactroll, and Betsy's going to catch him out. Flashes from the seismic shove, and now Betsy's caught in the pit by himself and will be shepherded by SirNukesAlot to safety.
It's very interesting because none of the teams have like great split push. So all the focus is around 5v5, and one team is looking for it on the side of Giants. The other team is always disengaging on the side of Vitality. Let's see what happens now, Jiizuké. Big one!
Man, a taunt! Equalizer comes down straight away though, and Giants might try and turn this one around. Jiizuké is the first to fall. Kikis pops down the respite, but is a little bit too late. He's got a flash to safety. Burns down, not quite low enough, and now Giants ruined, chasing it. Can't quite find the final connection. Kikis will get to safety, but Jiizuké went on a kamikaze mission into the midst of Giants. Joko! Kikis does it! That's the superior jungler. Kikis does it again.
But Jiizuké, like, he saw the big play. He knew, okay, I can get like 4 or 5 players here. His support was back in base. He wasn't there. And the rest of his damage couldn't follow up. It was just Kikis. He didn't even get the ult down in time to save Jiizuké. The engage was so good. If we watch the replay and we just pause in like 2 seconds. Right there. Pause it now.
So
Greatest
good.
play. What a fantastic play. There we go, guys. Look at that. This is a sick play. But then look, Attila is really far away and got zoned away slightly by the Taliyah. Kikis as well is only in range to deal damage to the front line of Giants. And on the minimap, Tahm Kench is in base. So we run the clip and we notice no one is actually dying on the side of Giants, despite the great engage. Attila has barely done any damage this fight on the Lucian. And then Giants like, well, we can just kill Jiizuké. And now they can turn the fight around.
Great stuff from the Giants to realize they had their opportune moment. Joko did try and chase out Kikis in the end, but wasn't quite able to connect with the final tactical sweep.
First part of that replay, Challenger.
Yep.
Second part, Bronze.
Challenger.
Ah, of course.
I do want to give credit to our observers. We hadn't planned that at all.
No,
Giants are gonna
I got
go in
surprised
there.
they paused.
Sword comes out onto Jiizuké. Once again, he's the one caught out. Justice Punch just puts him into the midst of the rest of Giants. Equalizer will catch Kikis down towards the bottom side. He jumps away, but Cabo and Attila have to run for the wins because SirNukesAlot is on the case, chasing them down. Cabochard will heal up once again, and Giants just find the single pick, but they'll get a tower out of it as well.
But it's happening, Medic, right now.
It's
Giants
happening,
are
Deficio.
winning the fights. They kill Jiizuké again. He's in the front line. The rest of the team cannot help him enough. And we talked about the amount of damage on Giant's side. It doesn't matter they're squishy. If no one is actually hitting you and trying to kill you, you can be as squishy as you want as long as you can kill the enemy tank. That's Baron going down in no time at all.
Double mountain. You have to remember the double
And
mountain.
Cloud Drake, look how
And the
fast.
They ran into there so quickly, Deficio.
Oh, we need to get the replay of that last little fight here. Vitality are so disconnected in their team fights. It's been the same all split long, and one of the reasons this meta does not suit them. Jiizuké simply just gets caught to the side on his own, and yeah, I mean, no one can really help him in time. Jactroll, no flash, so he can't like flash in and devour him. Great engage from Giants, and they're looking like the better team in these fights right now.
We asked in ReadyCheck, who is the real deal? Who's the team that's going to make it to playoffs? I don't want to say it too soon, Deficio, but Giants are feeling very much like the real deal at the moment.
I also want to mention there was one team we said, oh, we're really not sure anymore. That was Vitality. It's been rough for these guys. This game is far from over though. Sadly for them, however, the whole plan of, you know, let's try not to fall behind so all the damage dealers can just like nuke down our tanks. That's kind of happening at the moment with this turret falling as well. Giants have managed to now get an item lead on the side once they actually go back and spend the gold they're going to get from this Baron here. Cabochard is still extremely tanky in the front, but he's not in the front. It's Jiizuké. So they don't care about the tanky Mundo. They're just killing the Galio.
And Jiizuké is tanky. when he puts that taunt down, gets the damage reduction, if he can engage like he did before with the rest of his team there to follow up, maybe Vitality can win out a team fight, but it's so difficult to do when Ruin just puts the equalizer down and you just split up the fight.
And we mentioned this around the Vitality Baron that happened a couple of minutes ago, how they don't really have a good way to start that fight on their side, especially with the Galio ulti. It's really just a Mundo running at the enemy team where he TP's in behind, or it's a Tahm Kench ult in the middle. And if that doesn't happen, Jiizuké is not set up to succeed on this pick. Like, it was mainly there, you know, one is an answer to a Taliyah, but also like they could try and snowball the side lane with it. Didn't really happen with the Galio, and now they're stuck in this really awkward position where the front line is simply not able to survive against the amount of damage on Giants.
The amount of poke coming out from Steeelback as well, yet to die this game. Doing an incredible job on that Ezreal 205, stacking up the items as well. He is the late game insurance, you feel, for Giants, and it's working out well for them. Have a cannon minion here alongside that Baron buff. The gold lead extends to about 3,000. Zone them out with the Weaver's Wall. Step towards the inhibitor tower. That will fall quickly. Steeelback jump forward. You have to keep your eyes on the Ezreal in fights like this. If he jumps forward, Jiizuké has a moment of opportunity to try and find the engage.
But it feels like it's all on him to start that fight, and it's almost unfair that he has to play Galio for his team, then he also has to start the fight for his team. Italian Faker, right there, stuck in a situation where if he's not doing something, it feels like Vitality can't do anything in a fight.
It's felt like that quite a few times this split. It's gone a dramatic change.
English is very difficult, my friend. If you want Danish lessons.
I blame the French. A huge change for him between Spring and Summer Split, but has not reached that peak of performance we saw in Spring yet.
But then this is also the kind of game where we have to look at, okay, who else on the team is going to then step up and win the game for you? And down in the bottom lane, they grab Lucian early for themselves. Attila is on this champion here. He actually were looking fine if you look at the first like 15 minutes, but he's not been able to do much in these team fights. And now, if you look at the Ezreal, well, Ezreal is ahead in items, and Steeelback is actually looking to just constantly land good poke before the fight even starts. And when the engage happens, he jumps back. They can't kill him. And eventually Giants just like kill the tank. Here we go. This could be the ulti from Jiizuké as well.
Yeah, deliver the tank onto the backline. Steeelback needs to get away. There's the heroic entrance. Jiizuké joins the fight. Jactroll low. There's the Hector ultimatum in the midst of it all as well. Betsy solo. He's the first to go down. Kikis gets the shut down. And now Giants need to run for the win because Cabochard is on the case. Kikis puts down on Lamb's Respite once again. Steeelback, look at him. He's the guy that has to carry Giants through. Jactroll gobbles up his teammate, keeps him alive for the moment, but he will sacrifice himself, and Steeelback lands a final Mystic shot, does not connect with the True Shot barrage, but still Giants come out on top.
And we kept talking about that, you know, Tahm Kench ulti's in, you get the ulti from Jiizuké, but at this point, as we talked about, Giants have gotten ahead in items. They actually have so much damage on their side with Ezreal and the Taliyah. Let's see what happens.
Quad TP, remember on Vitality, they bring in 3 straight away, but 2 are split from the team. Attila knocked away, stunned up. Cabo now in the front line, the one that has to carry. Jiizuké comes in, and that is one dead. Ezreal, Vitality find the flank they need. They'll take the double, and they'll keep chasing here. Giants running for the hills, and Ruin's gonna get cold until he flashes away.
So all the TP's blown here, Vitality. They get a bunch of kills, but what else can they get on the map? Mid lane turret. The minions are coming here with Kikis. Top lane is a big wave, but it's going to take some time. And bot lane, long gone. So they have to just try and get something mid here. 25 seconds on Steeelback. Betsy might try to just wall off the minions to buy time.
A Weaver's Wall here would separate the Vitality from their target, but they can still push forward for the inhibitor tower if they want.
You just get a Mountain Drake. Yep. Giants, they get out of this one, lose a bunch of kills, but not really losing anything else on the map. You don't need a triple Mountain Drake at this point if you are Giants.
Still have a 2,000 gold lead. In a good spot. Infinity Edge now complete on Attila as well.
Did not have that in the last fight, and something that happened, if we get the replay of the last big engage, not the TP one, but the one before.
Oh, perfect.
Notice how Betsy is zoning Attila away from the fight early. Lucian is on the left right now, the big engage happens. Betsy steps forward, forces Lucian to dash back, and that now means the AD carry is not in the fight for Vitality. And while Cabochard and the rest of the team is doing well, they've dropped so low from the initial engage, only bursting down one target. They can't actually re-engage, and as we keep saying, with the amount of damage on Giant side, eventually you're killing the tank. You just don't want that fight where the enemy tank sits through his ulti as a Mundo, and you have a Lucian just free hitting on your squishy targets, because then you lose. Didn't happen this one, because Attila was forced away by Betsy.
Giants once again grouping up towards the mid lane. Maybe had a few flashbacks in that last engage. They are 1-2 when they've had a lead at 30 minutes. So actually lose 66% of the time. If Vitality can find a way back into this game, it is a monumental feat for them. Only 2,000 gold behind though.
And such an important thing in the race for players, where a lot of people would count Giants out before this week. Win here against Vitality, you're only one win behind them. Let's see the fight. Attila's low.
Equalizer in a great spot. The Weaver's Wall separates them as well. Jiizuké now in the front line alongside Cabochard, but he is low. Almost falls down. The Lamb's rest by not enough to keep him alive, and now Cabochard is running away from Giants. They find the one pick they need. They're going to turn straight towards the Baron.
Kikis tried to save him there, but I think he just stepped out to the right and he died. Also, I don't think Jactroll managed to get a Devour towards him. I really think a stopwatch is necessary on this Galio if he wants to keep diving in, because he needs time.
Cabochard, the one to base check, and immediately the Grievous Wounds chunks him out. He's going to run away. And Giants may just turn back towards the Baron, but they are quite low.
Yeah, this is buying time for Vitality. Jiizuké's ult is ready when he's alive in 20 seconds, so Giants need to respect that. Vitality's staying on. They just need to keep Giants away from the Baron. Don't have to all-in engage them, though.
Kikis is going to go straight on to Ruin. One more is enough.
Okay.
Shut down for Kikis, and that's why you bring him into your team, to revitalize your chances of making it to playoffs. Now Steeelback running away with the rest of Giants, just keeping them safe for the moment.
This game is it's getting pretty insane right now.
So good, Deficio.
It is so back and forth in these fights. Vitality can start Baron. Enemy top lane is dead for another 30 seconds. Giants, they have two members around mid lane. Everyone else is running from base. This Vitality Baron here is going to go down pretty quickly. They got that Mountain Drake, baby.
They've given up. They've given it up. Deficio, Giants are not fighting around this Baron. Vitality gets it. Second Baron of the game. 35 minutes in. We are basically totally even in this game.
So Attila got poked down early in the fight. Now let's see what happens here when Jiizuké gets separated, because Jactroll's on the other side of the wall. He does not get to the Valée because he gets knocked back by Betsy. And then look at the Kikis ult. Jiizuké was in it, but then stepped out of it because it was just on the edge near the wall. Ooh, let's go straight to live, because Giants are hiding.
They set up a bait bush, but unable to actually capitalize on anything there.
Yeah, the bot wave is already pushing for Vitality, so they didn't have to go down and do anything with it. Meaning there's no reason for them to go into the bot lane jungle. That was good for them.
Look at that Steeelback damage.
Yeah, it's been good.
20,000 more than Attila in this game. He's done such a good job. And Vitality, they've got through the mid game. We talked about Giants' strength in the early mid. Vitality have survived. Even on gold now, is this their time to take over this game?
With the way this game has gone so far, it is impossible to say. Because these teams just keep trading back and forth. Giants got the first Baron, now Vitality got the second one. They will get a top lane turret. They're constantly trying to look for the flank on the side of Giants here. NukesAlot is around. His flash is available, but all flashes on Vitality are ready. Look at it, the cow down at the bottom of your screen.
Cow now, brown cow, NukesAlot looking for the engage, but Vitality back away. Intelligent play from them to keep their carries safe. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Jiizuké's pushing in, has that ultimate to join the fight if he needs.
Oh, let's see, NukesAlot around. He just wants to zone them off the turret first of all. He knows if he steps forward and Vitality are near the top wall, he can get a great combo and just lock them in place. Turret goes down. Vitality looking for that top inhib now.
Betsy can always put the Weaver's Wall down here to try and separate this team. Ult comes out from NukesAlot, the culling used as well. It's only Mundo they catch out.
You gotta remember here, Giants, it's hard for them to dive onto Vitality when there's ulti from Kindred and ulti from Jiizuké. That actually makes it easier for Vitality to play the team fight. But of course, Giants' amount of damage can always kill a squishy target if the defensive tools of Vitality are not there in place. Let's see what happens.
Onto the Tahm catch. The equalizer comes out as well. NukesAlot already very low, but there's the hero's entrance. Giants run back towards their fountain, run back towards safety. Vitality reset the fight. And Giants just do not have the damage to get through Vitality at the moment. Mid lane pushing in as well. They can get the inhibitor tower and probably the inhib.
That was all the defensive ultis, however. If they actually get another engage, NukesAlot, he's back. He needs to go for this one. If he actually thinks he can win the fight, now it's time.
Onto Jiizuké, NukesAlot onto Cabochard as well, but he is nuked down. Jiizuké gets the taunt onto Betsy, cleanse flash away straight away. Giants now running for the hills because it's a 4v5. Cabochard flash forward, double kill though for Attila onto the back backline. He's going to fall as well. No! Still alive. Gets the triple, then goes down. And now it's all on Giants. It's all on Steeelback and Ruin to somehow survive and somehow save this game for Vitality. But Kikis is having none of that. They're
got
looking
TP back.
for the Nexus Tower. TP coming in. Ruin taunted up. Kikis does so much damage, and Vitality somehow turned this game around. It was all Giants. It was all them, but Vitality say, not today, my friends. They'll take the kills. They'll take your life, and they will take your Nexus in the end. Steeelback can do nothing about it. Vitality goes 6-5.
What a back and forth game here. Both teams bring so much action to the table, and you know what? Vitality will look at this and say, okay, it wasn't as clean as we hoped for, but they just needed a win. That was the most important thing, because they're playing against a team they're fighting against for playoff position. Vitality needs to consistently beat the bottom teams, and then they will lock down a top 6 spot, and that is what they're aiming for now. Ignore first place, get top 6, get into the playoff, start playing best of 5s. That's the key thing. So getting a win, no matter how it looks, that is the important thing here. Because this game, oh man, it looked like Giants had it under control. They won a bunch of fights, they got their Baron, we're like, okay, Giants, they're just running over Vitality at the moment. But then the fights started turning key items on the side of Vitality. The tanks actually got tank enough to buy more time. And that last replay, we're gonna get the fight so we can see it again. We highlighted the damage numbers heavily in favor of Steeelback compared to Attila during the game. Attila was always zoned away, couldn't really get in range. The last fight he said, you know what, I don't care about running away from the fight. I'm flashing into the back line. I'm actually dealing some damage now. And that was a big part of why they won that last one.
Great stuff from Attila at the end. We talked about who would step up for the team. Well, Attila stepped up for that final fight. I think you have to give credit to Kikis as well. He was doing a lot of damage on that Kindred, found the catch onto Ruin as well that really helped Vitality continue to push for the win.
Yeah, just winning that first game for him is so key when it comes to momentum, confidence, also potentially staying in for the next game.
We are going to have another look at that final fight, Deficio. Attila, the man of the moment for Vitality.
So defensive ultis are gone from Vitality at this point, so that's why Giants look for the engage. First member goes down, no ult on him, and then look at Attila here on the Lucian. He's tired of running away, dash in, step forward, flash, nukes down a couple of members. Yeah, he's going to die for it, but now Giants can't defend. They've lost 3 players. That was the kind of play Vitality needed towards the end, because this game was still wide open until this fight happened.
Superb stuff all round from Vitality and from Attila.
Look at that gold graph.
Look at the swing. We brought it up as Giants were pushing into the base of Vitality, but the swing back for Vitality is monumental.
I also want to highlight that Cabochard on Mundo was not sitting in a side lane always hitting a tank and getting a ton of damage from that. Almost all of his damage came from team fighting, because he was the only one who was tank enough to stay in the middle of the enemy team, hitting them. And we can see how little the other members actually managed to do, because these fights were so hard for them to play. Tanks jumped in, either your tank died and you were forced to run away and then you lost the fight, or the enemy team couldn't kill the tank in time and they lost a member, and it was always 1 for 0, 2 for 0 trades between these two teams.
I think if you're Giants as well, you're probably a little bit dismayed that you didn't just close out the game earlier. You had that mid-game spike, you had the strength, you just weren't quite able to find the fights. But if you're Vitality, you're very happy, and you have the player of the game. Make sure you jump on over to @LoLesports on Twitter. Your options are Kikis, Jiizuké, and Jactroll for the vote. Slightly sad that Attila wasn't on that list after his final play in the team fight, but if I were to give it to someone, I'd probably go towards Kikis.
I think Kikis, solid first game in team fights. Too aggressive in the early game, jumping in where he didn't have to, but I think he wanted to show something on stage. He's not been able to play on the LCS stage for a while. He's definitely not been able to jungle on the LCS stage for many, many years. And for him, it was a statement game. It was like, I'm not here to just play one game and then get subbed out for the rest of the split. I'm actually here to play as many games as possible.
Definitely the case. And if you want to support, I don't know what I had words in my head.
Yeah.
They didn't come out the way I wanted to do. So I'm just going to read straight from the
Makes it
auto
hard to cast then if you can't get them out.
Well, it's the English. It's the English bag that we
English
had.
again.
Just going to read straight from the auto queue. Darkstar Cho'Gath is now on sale in the in-game store. Created as a wish from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, 100% of the proceeds from all Darkstar Cho'Gath content will be donated via our partner, Global Giving, to regionally based charities around the globe. Be sure to check out more information online at leagueoflegends.com. And interestingly, other teams have been unstoppable in the last few weeks. Splice are one of them and are looking to continue their winning streak against G2 Esports. Later tonight, we'll have our match of the week between Sjokz and Fnatic, so be sure to stay tuned for that.
Great job, man.
Thank you. His first gank of his EU LCS split. On to Ruin, the flash away, but Kikis with the chase. Ruin not in a good spot. First blood, Vitality. Can't get him out of the Lamb's Respite though, and Vitality's still alive. Kikis flashes away. Jiizuké now in the midst of them all though, and he's trying to 4v1 this one. Attila comes in for the side. Steeelback jumps forward, gets one. Jiizuké.
Let's see what happens now, Jiizuké.
Big one, man! Taunt equalizer comes down straight away though, and Giants might try and turn this one around. Jiizuké, Cabo now in the front line, the one that has to carry. Jiizuké comes in, and that is one day. Gets the taunt onto Betsy, cleanse, flash away straight away. Giants now running for the hills because it's a 4v5. Cabochard, flash forward, double kill though for Attila onto the backline. He's gonna fall as well. No, they'll take the kills, they'll take your life, and they will take your Nexus in the end. Steeelback can do nothing about it.
Sjokz! Amazing! Puts the tactical sweep to the face of Cat!
This could be the time that Sjokz earns a win against Fnatic.